Hey everyone, it's Ryzen.
And Liz.
Welcome back to, welcome to the recap for Patriots at the Bills.
We lost again.
Look, I'll say they're competitive, but they really weren't. This was the Patriots lost this game because of coaching, and that is the reality. And they weren't blown out, but they lost because of their coaching. They lost because AVP decided that he doesn't know how to manage a 4-minute drill. He decides, backed up on your own 5-yard line, let's make Drake May throw a backwards lateral to Ramondre Stevenson. A guy who does nothing but fumble. I know that's a fumble on May, technically, but it's a fumble on Stevenson, just not credited to him.
Who also fumbled in this game as well.
And again, benched him for one drive after that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. There needs to be accountability. This is now the 7th fumble he has had. And realistically, 8th fumble, because I'm counting the fumble against him back in that 5-yard line. He should be done for the rest of the year. He should be.
He should just be cut.
He should be, you can't cut him, he'd have dead cap, but you should be benching him for the rest of the year and looking for a trade partner in the offseason.
Would somebody trade for him?
You could get a 7th round for him. I'm sorry, he is costing you games.
Yeah.
He's not a good running back.
Not anymore.
And he does not understand how to protect the football.
No, he's had that problem ever since he...
Nope. And he had this problem in college, and they knew about it, and they kept him anyway because they thought, we can fix him. You can't fix him. He's actually getting worse.
That's the Patriots thing. Oh, we'll fix them. Never do.
Stevenson should not be getting another handoff for the rest of the year. Hastings should be getting handoffs, and Gibson should be getting handoffs. Period.
Gibson has been far better than him anyways, in my opinion.
So, I mean, to be fair, Gibson fumbled once in this game, but I think he's fumbled once, all year.
Yeah.
So, the guy is more reliable. He's more dependable. He makes things happen on his own. He can catch better than Stevenson. Get Stevenson out of there, and you've got to actually punish him. You cannot continue this no accountability thing.
Right. Right.
I mean, it's bad enough you've been doing it with Darian Lowe and Demontre Jacobs, just allowing them to consistently commit penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty, and you no punishment. No accountability. It feels like there's no accountability on this team. It really does. But then again, this is, Gerard Mayo and his... It's not my fault. You said it, not me. It's not my fault.
As I saw one person on Reddit refer to him as the CEO coach.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what he's doing.
He acts like he's still on a freaking board of a business. That's how he acts.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's not football. It's not.
It doesn't the business world doesn't translate.
You are responsible for the plays that your offensive coordinator is calling. And you allowed your offensive coordinator today to call, in 4-minute drill, a run on 3rd down, on 3rd and 1. You need to score twice. There's about 3 minutes left. You ran, got stopped because you suck on your offensive line. I don't know why you're running, but you ran. Then you ran a quarterback run. Congratulations! Everybody wanted you to run quarterback runs. We didn't want you to run them when there were 4 minutes left and you need all 3 timeouts because you need a 3 and out. That's not when you run that.
No.
Now they ran it right the first time in the right situation, then it didn't work, and there was the penalty in the first half. You don't run it when you need to save the timeouts. And don't even get me started on the nightmare that was that red zone trip, where
took them 2 minutes to score.
Took them 2 minutes to score. They ran with 2:15 left, and got stuffed.
Just embarrassing. Just embarrassing stuff.
Why are you running the ball when you cannot use a timeout? And honestly, you need the 2-minute warning as well. You have to score before the 2-minute warning. This is coaching 101. You are down 2 scores. You have to score twice. If you are going to be this bad at managing the clock, then kick the field goal so that you can kick the ball away. This is called managing the clock, managing the game. And I don't know if AVP just has no sense of time.
It's not just on him though. It's more on Mayo with
it's on both of them.
To that respect.
It's on both of them. Look, they both need to be fired at the end of the year. I'm sorry, period. And if they're not, we need to get new ownership because This was embarrassing tonight.
Yeah, the score is going to look otherwise because they only lost by 3 points, which frankly for the Bills is actually really embarrassing.
Yeah,
the Bills
should have
blown us
them
out
of the water. Josh Allen was terrible in this game. And I mean, like, legitimately, he was terrible.
They weren't. The Bills were not really that
He threw
great.
like 150 yards. He was not good in this game. I threw a terrible interception. I have no idea what he was doing. Oh, by the way, that's another weird play where Marty Mapu decided to run out of the end zone and get tackled at the 1.
Right.
I don't know why he decided to do that. Again, are they being coached to run out of the end zone?
Now, there's an NFL problem this year with players and the end zone that I've picked up on, and others probably have too. This was the reverse. There's been a problem with players thinking that they can just drop the ball when they're not in the end zone. This is like the reverse problem of him not taking the knee.
The equivalent of not taking the knee.
Yes, it's the reverse.
And that has to be a coaching thing. It has to be. Why would he think to take that out? Unless you're not coaching them in the situation when you pick the ball off in the end zone.
I sure hope that Jonathan Kraft can knock some sense into Robert Kraft's head, because
this coaching staff is an embarrassment. They lost this game specifically because of the coaching staff.
Right.
100%.
They looked okay in the first half. They looked pretty darn good. And then the second half, they just collapsed.
Blew it by doing a bizarre call on your 5-yard line. Just a bizarre call. And then when you had a chance to you're only down 2 scores. You had 5 minutes. First of all, you punted with 8 minutes left.
They also tried an onside kick with a minute left.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. You had a minute left but 3 timeouts. Kick the ball away. You don't have to onside it. If you onside it, first of all, and by the way, it bit them because
the Bills got the ball.
The Bills got the ball on a 4th and they had it at 4th and 1 eventually, and they sneaked it to win the game. Guess what? If you were in that situation and you had kicked the ball away, they would have punted. They would have punted.
Bad decision making.
And then you would have had a lateral play. You would have had a Hail Mary play. You would have had something.
Right. Now, in their defense, at the end of the first half, they did a lateral thing, and it did not end in disaster.
That was definitely improvising.
That was fine.
I would have preferred to just call a Hail Mary there, but whatever.
Anyways, the second half of this game was just a complete disaster.
Coaching. It's all coaching. And I hope this game proved to the Krafts that these coaching staff has got to go. This coaching has got to go. All of them.
Bob Kraft needs to set aside his ego, and if he wants this team
to succeed,
he's got to fire them all.
You have to admit a mistake.
And he can't.
And Gerard Mayo was a mistake.
Clearly.
Because he has no sense of managing the game. AVP has no sense how to manage a game.
No.
DeMarcus Covington has taken a defense that was elite and ruined it.
They were they were a top 10 defense last year.
They're a bottom 5 now.
They're the worst.
They're the worst defense in the league. And it's the same players.
Which is...
I'm sorry, that's all coaching. It's all coaching. It has to be.
Yeah.
The talent has not changed on defense.
No, the only 2 players that have gone are really, it's Bentley and Judon.
Yeah,
that's really it.
Bentley, Judon, and you lost Barmore. And sure, that sucks, but you still have a really, really good secondary.
Right. The core of the team is still there.
And you're just a disaster.
Yeah, just a disaster.
All 3 of them have got to be gone. The only guy that can stay, the special teams coaching staff, is good.
Yeah,
they've done good. But
the rest?
The top 3 have got to go. Wide receivers coaches got to go. I mean, the way these guys run routes, I mean, it's just embarrassing.
It's just
May had a bad interception in this game, but other than that, he had a solid game.
Had an amazing touchdown in the beginning of the game.
He did have a good touchdown.
They did score on their first 2 drives, which is the first time they've done that in a few years, but it doesn't really matter now, does it, if you don't win the game?
No, they were bad. The coaching cost them the game. I mean, they gave up 100 yards to James Cook again.
No surprise there. They've done that before.
It's just embarrassing. Like, these are problems that they've had the entire year.
And last year, and the year before that.
Yeah, but they weren't that bad against the run last year. They were mediocre. They are actually bad this year.
Yeah.
And they're bad against the pass, too. They're bad against everything. They literally rank 31 or 32 against everything. It's insane.
Yeah.
Completely insane. And the only difference is who the defensive coordinator is.
Yeah,
so that tells me.
Like for the Krafts, do you really want this team to be the laughing joke of the NFL?
Because right now they are. They're on the same level as the Chicago Bears.
I don't understand how you you have a team that goes from being so successful for 20 years, and then just is the complete
you
laughingstock.
just hire I'm sorry, an idiot. I mean, Gerard Mayo treats this like he's running a business.
He really does, and it's got to stop.
It's got to stop. Like, stop randomly calling your players soft in the middle of a press conference. You want to do that in private? That's fine. You don't shame your players in the middle of the media. You don't do that. You don't blame your offensive coordinator for play calling when you're the ones that's supposed to be approving the play calls. If you had a problem with him not running quarterback sneaks, they ran quarterback sneaks this week.
Finally.
A
little too late, but
too
whatever.
late now. Why does it take you so long? They finally called designed runs for Drake May. Why does it take the media chastising you for 15 weeks to do these things?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Why?
Yeah. Well, whatever.
I don't know. The coaching staff is horrendous. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. This is the worst coaching staff in the entire league right now. And it's embarrassing. They have personally cost them this game. Personally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That was very evident in the second half.
This was about as bad as it could be without being blown out.
Yep.
It is very hard for a coaching staff to be the sole reason you lose a game. It is basically the sole reason they lost this game.
And they have to play Buffalo again in 2 weeks. Yippee.
Complete mismanagement all around. Well, whatever. They play the Chargers next week.
On Saturday.
Which...
So it's a short week.
Whatever.
They'll lose.
They have the number 2 pick now, which, everybody's like, yeah, that's good. No, it's not good. Because the reason it's not good is because Travis Hunter is going to go 3. So now you have to pick him at 2, which means you're overdrafting him because the Raiders are not going to, they're not going to trade up to get the quarterback.
No.
Because they don't need to.
No.
So now you're stuck having number 2 in a situation where having number 2 doesn't do anything for you.
Is there a tackle or something that's worthy of that?
No.
No.
Travis Hunter's the best guy in the draft. And there were 2 teams ahead of you that were taking quarterbacks. So you were in the perfect position. Honestly, I think they're going to end up with the number 1 pick.
They could.
And then what are you going to do with it?
So the only team ahead of them is the Giants,
right? Yes, right. And if the Giants win another game, it's possible.
They got blown out.
I know, but
today.
It is possible.
I guess.
What are you going to do with the number 1 or number 2 pick? You can't trade it to anybody because there's no elite quarterback in the draft. So this is not a good year to have the top two picks.
Yeah, I don't know what
if
they would do.
If you had number 3, it was perfect because you could have picked Travis Hunter.
Could they trade down to 3?
No, because whoever you're going to trade with is going to take Hunter. So you can't.
But that would probably wind up being the Raiders or a bad team.
No, the Raiders are not going to trade up because anybody that's trading up wouldn't want a quarterback. Mm-hmm. There's only 2 teams that want a quarterback. It's the Raiders and Giants.
So we really wanted the Raiders to actually win.
Yes,
today.
we want to stay at number 3.
Right. So they should have lost basically.
So apparently we needed to win this game.
Yeah. Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Either them or us should have won.
So, it's a problem because basically the value of having the number 1 or number 2 pick is just not good this year at all. You're not going to be able to get somebody a ransom. Remember what the Vikings offered for Drake May? Basically, several first-round picks. You're not going to get that this year.
Right. I see.
And that's the problem. So, you're basically going to. You're obviously going to pick McMillan or Hunter, depending on where you are.
Can you use trade picks to get coaches?
No. That only happened for the Jets when they traded Belichick. It doesn't usually happen. But anyway. I really hope there's some accountability on this team next week.
I sure hope so too. Or even this week. I don't know if they'd fire anybody the week of Christmas.
They're not going to.
That'd be pretty low.
But at the end of the season, they've got to fire people. They have to.
Just clean house. Admit you.
You have to admit a mistake.
Admit you screwed up and move on.
And hire Mike Vrabel. Bring in Robert Saleh as your defensive coordinator if you can. And then, change your offensive coordinator to a real offensive coordinator. Try to get McDaniels back in or something. You got to get an established coaching staff that actually knows what they're doing. Because you have a really good rookie quarterback.
Well, the other coach that people are hot on and them trying to get is Ben Johnson. I don't know if that will happen, though.
Anybody's better than Gerard Mayo. And it's not even just the on-field stuff. Today we saw the on-field stuff is a nightmare. It's a disaster. He is a terrible coach at managing any situation. But it's also the off-the-field stuff.
Right.
Where he treats this like it's some sort of business. where he has to pass the buck to anybody else but him.
Okay,
and that is unacceptable.
We should wrap up now.
Okay. Fine. All right, we'll be back for the Chargers game for another sure loss, frankly.
They ain't winning the last 2 games.
No. Surprising.
And Liz.
Thanks for watching. Take care.